This is Johnny Phillips with Junior Achievement of New Jersey, where we prepare students to succeed in the global economy.
And my name is Kyle Olszak. I work at Merck currently in their MCAS division, their corporate audit and assurances services. Within that division, I am in the finance leadership development program where I'm currently an audit specialist.
Nice. Kyle, thanks for taking some time. We just talked with Tim, who I believe is in the same program. So thank you guys for taking some time and working with us and sharing some insight for some young people to learn about Merck and the pharmaceutical industry and your own personal insights. To start, can you describe your job story? I'm meaning, any jobs you've had in the past, in any ways those skills align with what you're doing now, and if you can give a description on what you do in your day-to-day.
Yeah, of course. So in high school, I started, definitely doesn't really pertain as much to what I'm currently doing, but I started as a lifeguard, where I think in general you got some life skills. Obviously in that role you can kind of see the impact that you play. I didn't really have any crazy life-saving stories, but on occasion you had to help out with someone who was swimming. So that kind of taught you the importance of what your role can be in an organization. From there, I spent some time as a substitute teacher, just another kind of college job following high school. And then when I was in college, I was also the president of my school's programming board.
Nice.
Basically, every year they had $1 million budget, and I got to be one of the student leaders who kind of got to allocate those funds. So that just mostly pertained to a lot of the larger events on campus. Between that and substitute teaching, I really found them helpful because it was a lot of public, a lot of public speaking. A lot of talking to an audience, whether it be a couple thousand people at a concert or if I'm just leading a classroom. And in that role too, with the programming board, I got to manage 75 other students. So that certainly too was another experience where I got to see the impact that my words have. It taught me a lot about thinking before I speak, and just that my actions really mattered. And then more in line with what I'm currently doing now. When I was in college, I also had an internship at a bank within their commercial healthcare division. While that's different from auditing in my current role, it did teach me, a lot about 9 to 5. It taught me about the healthcare industry, and I certainly have been able to translate some of the lessons learned in that opportunity into my current role at Merck.
Nice, nice. And thank you for sharing your background in terms of what you've done in work throughout college, right? Not many people. That sounds like a very big job to take on as a college student, and not many students are thinking about doing things in that realm. So if you can explain your education path a little bit, and maybe what you're studying and how if that led to you taking on the roles you did throughout college.
Yeah, absolutely. So I in high school, I went to a public high school in New Jersey. Really loved New Jersey, so I ended up going to the College of New Jersey. When I started there, I was a marketing major, and I quickly realized that I like to think I'm creative, but my creativity was definitely outperformed by some of my peers. I also liked more with numbers, so I decided to transition to more of a finance role. At the time, however, I was in the organization I'd already mentioned, where I became the president of that. I took on more roles within that, where in terms of allocating their finances.
Yeah.
I took on financial challenge opportunities. Me and a team were selected from my college to participate in a CFA regional competition, and me and another group of friends actually did an investment banking competition where we became global finalists for that. So the more I got involved with different financial opportunities, the more I saw that I definitely enjoyed that more, which, as I said, led me to switch my major from marketing to finance, take on more finance opportunities and challenges. Later interned in the commercial healthcare banking realm, and ultimately led me to where I am now.
Nice, nice. So with your deep interest in finance and it sounds like expertise in the field, right? Can you shed some insight on the importance of financial literacy, not only for yourself, but for anybody who's, listening in terms of budgeting and saving and investing. Can you share some insight on why you think that's important?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's your life doesn't revolve around money, of course, but there definitely is some positives if like you said, if you have strong financial literacy, you can just help yourself out along the way, and certainly through the experiences I've had, it teaches you in a professional realm, how you can have a positive impact in an organization in terms of their finances, but
Mhm.
along the way, it definitely is. It's incredibly beneficial to just learn about your own personal finances because there's a lot of little things you can do that it's really important, that you do it at a younger age, whether that be, applying for a credit card or when it comes time to start a career, really putting as much as you can into a 401k just because, it grows compound interest. Um, having your own personal financial literacy is incredibly important. And the younger you start, you really can have an exponential return. So the earlier you can get on that, the better.
Yeah, right. So starting to save allowances and little
Yeah,
paychecks, it adds up, right? Knowing how to manage,
absolutely.
at some point you're going to be managing, a large sum of money, and if you've never learned, right, you're never going to know how. So, thanks for sharing that. Do you mind explaining or kind of just describing the program you're involved in within Merck? I know I forget the name of it exactly, but can you take us down what that is and maybe why you got involved in it?
Yep. So within Merck, it's the Merck Corporate Audit and Assurances Services division. Uh,
Hmm.
within that, I'm in the Financial Leadership Development Program. So this past year, they took upwards of 10, less than 15 students that had just graduated college to join this program. In our roles, our job really changes every month. So it's project based. You're looking at different facets of the company,
Mm.
auditing them. Currently, I'm in what they call an innovation lab. So it's kind of learning more about different programs that they use, some data analysis and visualization tools, and then you kind of are in this rotation of doing something new every month for it could be upwards of 2 years. And then from there, hopefully at that point, you kind of you saw a division within the company that really piqued your interest. You've probably networked with them. You've had some conversations about it, and then you would transition out into another finance role within Merck that perhaps you would be more interested in.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, you can stay within audit. Like I said, I'm only in my third month into the program, but so far my experiences have been two audits, and now I'm currently in that innovation space.
Nice, nice. So, giving you a chance to see the company as a whole, and kind of, as Tim mentioned, like a high level view of the operations and allowing you to just use your perspective to find what you're interested in. That's really
Mhm.
cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's a really unique opportunity to get to meet some of the higher level leaders too in each division of the company. If it weren't currently with the pandemic where we're all working from home, a lot of it is um, travel dependent. So
Yeah.
in January, for instance, my assignment was to it's an audit in Switzerland. So if it weren't for the pandemic, you'd get to go to Switzerland for 2 weeks, which is really just it's a very cool opportunity, especially as you're younger, to get to see the world on Merck's dime. And you also get to network and have these meetings with people where you're really talking in front of some higher level people, and so it's really just a great opportunity to learn more about the company and get more exposure to the senior leaders.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. And to end off, is there any other resources or pieces of information you would want to share, if it was your younger self or to a young person now who's interested in getting involved in this stuff? What would you recommend?
My biggest recommendation, whenever I was going through school, I think I always, when I was younger, I kind of got caught up on, I have to, be involved in this. I need X, Y, and Z accolade. I need, a certain grade in a certain course. And the more I went on, I kind of became cognizant of the other people around me were doing.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, whatever job you're going to apply for, there is some competitiveness in it. And I think ultimately what I learned was when it's time to give an interview, it's really about who you are and how can you take these bulleted items you have on a resume and really turn it into a story about yourself. So I think whenever someone takes on the opportunity, whether that be, a challenging course that they're doing, or they're doing, some extracurricular outside of school, or they want to take on an internship, for instance, I think it's important to really think why you're doing that
Yeah.
and what's your end goal there. And one day when you go to maybe interview for a job that you really want, how are you gonna be able to say that in a story that can prove that you're better than some of the other candidates? So I think it's important, whenever you're doing anything, to really think, how does this make me a better person, and how can I illustrate how it makes me a better person?
Nice, right? Like the idea of being able to market yourself and network
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
like you said, take those bullets from a resume and be able to put that out into a presentation to who you are and why you're here, what you're interested in.
Yeah,
It's a great endpoint and great way to, frame how you kind of create your resume and create your goals and what it is you want to do, right? Stay true to yourself and, the time will come. So Kyle, I want to thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. They say your time is one of the most valuable things you can give from Junior Achievement. We really, really appreciate you and looking forward to communicating with you in the future.
well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.